I don't even feel it anything.
Do you have complete sensation in the finger? Do you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Good.
I
Good.
went to Interlaken also.
Good.
A month. An accident happened again. I got stung by bees, by 5 bees.
Oof.
A day before the concert, yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, kind of.
Ah.
And I had to play my bow. My hand was like this big, and the bow. I barely grab my bow, so.
So let me ask you a question. That was on your right hand.
Yeah.
Was the accident with your other hand? Was it your left hand where you had the injury from?
Yeah, I was, I think, 2 months without playing cello.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. Yeah. Well, look, let me just say this. I'm sorry about everything you've been through with your finger health. This is really important stuff. But it does help us understand what matters, what's important.
Yeah.
And what I would say to you is, if you really feel you want to be a cellist, and that being without it would be sort of dark inside, then you should go for it.
Yes.
If you feel like it's something you like, but it doesn't really matter so much, then that's a different story.
Oh, of course. Let me speak about the school, the Manhattan School of Music. I have a teacher that graduated from there. Do you have scholarships, or what method do you use for teaching?
Yes. We admit students at the undergraduate, graduate, professional studies, doctoral level. So it's all the way from age 18 all the way up to well into the 30s and sometimes the age 40s.
Right.
We do have scholarship. They are generous scholarships. We do give our money best to the students who play really strong auditions and also show that they have need for financial support.
All right.
In order to make it possible for them to work. One of the other things that we look at, of course, is academic record, how your grades are, what your aggregate grade point average is. Are there any issues we should know about? Obviously, with somebody like you, English is not a problem. Your English is perfect. So that's not an issue at all.
All right.
But those are things that we generally look for when we admit students. And, you know, if you're describing yourself accurately as a passionate young musician who really wants to do this, I would say that you are mission appropriate for Manhattan School and, frankly, for most of the conservatories.
Thank you. What do you think is more important for a musician, the theoretical part or the practical part?
Right. I think it's a combination of those things. Mm-hmm. Very often at the undergraduate level, since you're 17, wherever you end up at school, if you go to a U.S. conservatory, you will find that theory, oral studies, music history is all a very important part of your curriculum when you start. Okay. So, you know, that would supplement wherever you need help, and we do qualifying exams so that we know where you're strong and where you need work. As far as the practical work is concerned, of course, that is the mainstay of what you would do. We give 14 private lessons per semester. Right. So it's 28 hours of private instruction each year. Many of our faculty give more than that just because they want to believe in their students. Right. But that is absolutely the main work that you do is your study with your private teacher.
Okay. Nowadays, children and young people think the opera and the classical music are like from adult entertainment. Why do you think about that?
I'm sorry, that they are from where?
You know, when you talk to children about opera or classical music, they find it boring. Why do you think is that?
Well, I think part of it is that they don't have anything to really hold on to when they're listening to it. Very often, when you're listening to music that's unfamiliar, and I'm sure you know, as a musician, you understand this too.
Yeah.
If you're listening to music that's unfamiliar, you need a little bit of information in order to know what you're supposed to be listening for.
Okay.
You know, and young kids today, you know, there is a kind of music that they are very familiar with, they've grown up with, and they understand it. But sometimes classical music doesn't fall into that category. And this is, by the way, where at my school we do a lot of work with outreach into the schools, where a lot of our conservatory students go in the schools and they talk about the music. They talk about what made Mozart write Magic Flute or Don Giovanni, or, you know, the D major violin concerto. We talk about that with school children. You know, a lot of it is just simply experience, you know, what school children have learned. But coming back to your original point, I'll just say this. You know, if you're passionate about music, it's the right thing for you. If you like it but you don't love it, then you need to think very carefully about it. Okay. Because what we always have to do, and this is true for me as well as for you, is to be passionate, to pass on what we know about music.